Hey folks, this is Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalist, and in this case it's gonna be EDC update plus fitness reality check. What are you really capable of versus what you assume you will be able to do if it's ever needed? Let me explain. I'm just back from walking with my wife. We try to do this several times a week, at the very least 3 times a week, going for a walk. Nothing amazing, just maybe 5-6 miles, give or take. My wife is actually better at that. She tries to do her 10,000 steps a day, and she usually hits that. Sometimes she does a little bit more, sometimes she does a little bit less. I try to go with her as often as I can, and besides that, I try doing my cardiovascular, either elliptic training or rowing machine or something like that. Usually what you want to do is 3 times a week, 30 to 45 minutes of cardiovascular activity plus some weightlifting so as to sustain a certain amount of muscle mass. If you don't do those things, especially as you grow older, you're gonna be suffering. You're gonna be losing some of that cardiovascular capability, some of that muscle mass. And this was pretty evident just moments ago for us. We saw a lot of people, it's a bit of a tourist season right now, and you see a lot of people that are not used to going out and walking and exercising, and you see them gasping for air, you see them sweating like they're about to die, and we all sweat. That's perfectly normal. That's why you have your hat and all that, but it's very clear that these people are not in proper physical shape. And I'm no athlete. I'm not trying. I mean, if you're an Olympic athlete and you laugh at my minimal standards, good for you, my man. I mean, that is fantastic. And I'm not even being sarcastic or ironic. I mean that. If you have a fantastic fitness level, that's gonna be great for your health and for your overall quality of life. I'm talking about not being able to sustain that. And we see that very often. This is like Nemo, like Finding Nemo, the great Pixar animation from back in the day when people were not completely woke insane. Well, as Nemo dad tells Nemo, Nemo, you think you can do things, but you can't, right? You're overestimating your capabilities. People think that they haven't walked more than a mile a week and they're gonna be going on holidays and walking in the middle of summer, hill up, hill down, and they'll just do it. No, you end up sitting after a couple miles because you just cannot go any further. You see them leaning against walls. You see people with serious, morbidly obese bodies that should have been taking care of that and not try to do something that they're just not capable of doing. And that's pretty much it. Be realistic, be honest with yourself. Do you have a minimal amount of body mass index going on for you? If not, maybe work towards that. Start eating less. Calories in, calories out. That does not make you lose weight just moving and exercising. You're not going to be losing weight by exercising. That's just a common lie by the food corporations. No, you have to eat less, which is not great for their business. So they try to trick you into thinking, oh, you just have to exercise more. No, losing weight is about eating less. That's basically what it's in. And besides, if you're going there, why not eat less processed crap and eat more nutritional rich non-processed food, which would be ideal. How far you go with these things or not, that is all up to you. Just make your own calls, but I insist on this. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with your capabilities. If you haven't walked 5-6 miles a day for God knows how long, don't expect to be able to do that. If you haven't walked 10, 15, 20 miles, don't assume that you'll just be able to do that. If you haven't learned how to use one of those firearms by a qualified instructor, if you haven't been trained at any point in your life, oh, but my uncle, who was once in the special forces of God knows whatever, taught me how to shoot one day. Well, that is not proper firearms training. You will fall back to your minimal level of training. You will not rise to the occasion nearly as much as you would expect. Maybe sometimes happens. It's not the typical outcome, okay? So having said all of that, let's go into this. This is what I took right now, and this is pretty much my standard little EDC. Same stuff as always. We'll start with the pocket EDC stuff. And when I talk about pocket EDC, it's usually going to be going in this thing. It's my Tac Light 511 pens. As you see, you have lots of nice pockets for all of your crap, and I try to go with a solid belt. Maybe one of these regular belts with a Cobra belt or whatnot. Something that's a little bit thicker, especially if you're going to be carrying. You want to get yourself a good belt. But besides that, whatever stuff you have is going to be much easier to carry if you have a solid belt that keeps things, that's sending that weight to your waist and not just hanging and pulling your shorts down all the time. So there I will have cell phone, wallet, nothing special here, just try having a little bit of extra cash for emergencies, a few coins. My wallets are always so that have the cards slide in this direction and not this one, because that's easier for them to fall. That's something I've learned the hard way a while back. Cell phone, just any cell phone with a nice enough case and screen protector. Yeah, I mean, you see people that sometimes say, oh, I'll just replace it anyway. Well, it's just better if it doesn't explode when it drops, which is typically the thing that happens if you don't have a decent little case. Nothing special. I used to go with the OtterBox Defender case. It is too bulky. My experience with the Spiegel, is it? Well, anyway, it's something a little bit lighter, but quality, it just works well enough. Besides that, in terms of glasses or sunglasses, these are Polaroid, affordable, nice quality glass or plastic, whatever the hell this is, and it just works. It's affordable. It just keeps your eyes safe, and it has a certain amount of protection, which is it's rated. It's not just any piece of crap. But I've been disappointed with my Wiley X glasses, and these are nice enough, especially for the money. These are great. Little hat, Glock hat, which I had to wash because it was pretty dirty. In my pocket with my keys, I have a little pouch made by myself, leather pouch, a little bit of a silver skull there, and that just mostly just to keep it from rattling. Sometimes if I'm having this in my pocket and little else, I'll just throw a couple more things, maybe some coins, something like that. But this is mostly now for keeping this from rattling in there. Victorinox Mini Champ, mini lighter, titanium through night, flashlight, AAA battery, little pry bar, and that's kind of it. For my pockets, I will have on my right pocket Leatherman Charge, the new one that I got more recently. My left pocket, I will have my folder. This is a CRKT folder, M16, the law enforcement model, which has a glass breaker, seatbelt cutter, and it's easy to flip open. And you have your serrated and non-serrated portion, tanto tip, and an extra safe liner lock, which works pretty well. It's a solid knife. It's not super expensive, but it is decent enough. It's a little bit bulky, a little bit pokey sometimes, but for me, it is what I need and what I want. A little bit of paracord because it weighs nothing, and it's often handy when least expected, and it's very difficult to improvise something like this, so why not? Especially when you have so many pockets. Through night T10T titanium. Also, very nice little flashlight with a whistle and some more visibility. It has a nice reflector that focuses and concentrates with a better amount of throw than what you would expect from such a small flashlight. And some Saber Red. This is a little bit of a chunkier unit. It's not the smallest one, but I find that you have a good amount of pepper spray in this thing if you ever need it. And even if you have your concealed carry, you want to have a non-lethal alternative, because it helps you in that gray area where, do I have to shoot someone? Do I have to stab someone? Do I have to use something that's on another level? Or do I have an alternative of using that instead of escalating things if I can avoid it at all costs, right? Also, the satchel, that's the E-Spec. This is the E-Spec I'm carrying lately. I'm not entirely on board with it. I like it enough. It's maybe one of my favorite ones, but I think I have my Gas Mask, the MK7 one. I think that's just a little bit more convenient. I mean, this has more pockets, so outside I have a little first aid kit, just a couple Band-Aids, some aspirin, little else. This exterior pocket, on this other side, I have some alcohol gel for hand sanitizing, especially if you're going to be grabbing something to eat or whatnot, or touching anything that's dirty. Some Kleenex on this exterior pocket. This has no zipper, so nothing very important there. On the inside, you have yet another pocket here, which right now only holds a little flashlight. It's a Streamlight rechargeable flashlight. And here I will have tourniquet, which should be on the outside, but it's just like a little bit too bulky. So anyway, tourniquet here, bottle of water, must have. If you have an EDC bag and you don't have at least some kind of bottle of water, small, big, whatever it is, but water is crucial in your EDC bag, and I see a lot of people don't even have that. And a multi-tool in case I'm not having any of this. In case I only grab this, I still have a flashlight, I still have a nice multi-tool, and if I lose this, it's not the end of the world. Okay, so that's covering it in terms of what I have inside. And this is not end all EDC stuff. I have plenty of videos regarding different setups that I've used, but this is pretty standard for what I've had over the years. And I'm talking many years, maybe 20 years of different EDC setups. This kind of things you just don't want to avoid having. Your water, some kind of tool, some kind of first aid, some kind of defensive tool for you. And right, depending on weather conditions, you may want to have a hat, you may want to have something, a scarf, or gloves or whatnot, depending on your specific location. Guys, as always, remember that all of this, without the actual knowledge that's to implement it correctly, will do you no good. So you have street survival skills for the practical aspect of a lot of this stuff, including quite a bit about self-defense, EDC, keeping yourself safe when out about on the streets, and lots of practical things for you to, defensive driving, things that I've learned over the years that I think it's important for you to also learn, and for the economic aspect of this stuff going on, surviving the economic collapse. My experience going through the economic collapse of Argentina in 2001, and my God, still carrying till this day, if you can believe that. It's amazing and it's sad, but it is what it is, and I share that with you through these books. Folks, see you next time. Take care.